Hello and welcome to the 2016 Financial Planning Cycle. I'm Mark Schatzsnyder with Decision Support Services. I'm creating a small video series on how to work in your budget. The first video was how to log into the DSS portal. This is the second video on how to work in your actual budget in the DSS portal. First thing you do is click on Applications and click on Budget Manager. This will pop up the list of facilities. You may not have a list, you may only have one facility, but for those that have multiple, you can click on this plus and it will show you all the cost centers. I do happen to have all cost centers. Some departments are shared between the Children's Hospital and Adult Hospital, so you will have cost centers in both Facility 11 and Facility 13. I'm going to find a cost center that would be a good example to talk about different items in the budget. SHMRI used to work at Surgical Hospital. One was Heart and Surgical Hospital, so I know a little bit about this department. The main thing that we do in our budget cycle is we look at past history, and we're trying to figure out what our volumes and what our budget will look like for 2016. So to do that, we go and talk to a lot of different physician groups we call service lines, and those service lines drive business to the hospital. For this department, we are looking at any physician groups that send business to HSH for inpatients or for outpatients, and that helps us come up with what this statistic is or what the volume is. We use a strategic product budgeting tool, and it basically cascades business down as we look at a specific service that admits patients, that type of service that usually does this many labs, this many radiologies, and that's where these volumes come from. If you look here, we normally have used weighted billed procedures, so the last couple years we used that, and this year the stat has changed to APC charges. You can see that the variance here is quite a bit different. So sometimes stats change. One of the major stats that's used is adjusted patient days, which most fixed departments use. But for expense or for departments that generate revenue, usually it's based on actual projections of patients coming in. That's very helpful because there is a part of expenses where there is variable expenses which flex based on the volume. So you're going to use more supplies if you have more patients, essentially, whereas you may not use as much office supplies if you have more patients. The next section is payroll. We budget at a job class level. We'd like managers to go in here and take a look ahead of time before we have a meeting with them to see, does this have the correct amount of employees listed? Does it show all the job classes they need? We sometimes have to add job classes if you're going to expand your department, or remove employees if your department is flexing down for the year. But go ahead and take a look in here. Normally this is grayed out, but we'd like you to take a look at it ahead of time. For the expense budget, this is where you're going to have the bulk of your work. This is where basically it shows actual 2014, what we're budgeted for 2015, and what we're projecting for 2016. Some of these are zeroed out. There are sub-accounts where we have actually done a zero-based budget, so we've decided not to put something in there because we want people to look through the information and generate what they believe it will be. One of those examples is travel. We're not going to just use what you used last year for travel. We're going to put it at zero, and you're going to need to figure out what travel you're going to do for the coming year. That's something that's going to be based on VP approval this year. But to look at what your run rate is for these items, you're going to click on one of these sub-accounts, click on sub-ledger, and then click on the month spread from January to December. You can see lots of different invoices for this specific sub-account in this cost center. If you want to see the specific invoice, you can click on this iConnect over here, and that will look for the invoice. Some of these invoices will drill down to the actual specific charge. Some of them have a group of charges. This one is specifically that one charge what's listed on the account. Some could show charges for a bunch of different other cost centers, but at least you can track back to the items that were in there and create trend and run rate for yourself. And that will help us in determining what we should put in these columns for the coming year. This is a specific department where it has volumes which will lead to revenue. There is a revenue section here. It's not something you need to worry about. That's kind of the back end work that we do at decision support. So again, when you are in here and we're working together, if you're going to click in here and make a change, it will require you to put a note in. Go ahead and put your justification for why that amount was selected, and put your name and date of when that happened. If you have any questions, decision support is here to help you. You have an analyst in your department who is going to schedule budget meetings with you. If you have any questions, you can call the decision support, and we will definitely figure out who should help you and try to find the best answer for you. Again, this is a joint process. This is not something we can do without your support. So we appreciate you taking the time to complete this timely so we can give it to the board for approval for the next year. Thank you very much, and this concludes the budget training.